All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is another, as always, beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. And it's been too long since we've talked Jacksonville. Man, my thoughts on this team for next year are through the roof. I'm keeping expectations in check. I'm keeping my cool. I'm keeping my calm. But if we're keeping it a buck here, the Jaguars are stacked. They're stacked. And we're going to discuss exactly why in today's video, but it all starts with Mr. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence next season, my take is he will take Jacksonville to 10-plus wins, all right? And number two, I think he will finish top 5 in MVP voting. And to just sprinkle just the sprinkles on top, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will win 2 playoff games next season. And I think, honestly, they're going to make the conference championship. I don't think that's far-fetched. I really don't. When we take a look at first year under Doug Peterson, all right, just an offensive maestro, all right, heavy in the pass coordination was the perfect pairing for Trevor Lawrence last year, all right. Last year, Trevor Lawrence, don't let this, the stats are good, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but don't let the stats even have that much leeway on you, all right? The eye test proves everything. And when we pair it up with the statistics, a 66.3 completion percentage, over 4,000 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, the recipe's there for an MVP season from Trevor Lawrence. And the reason I'm putting so much emphasis on it is because that's what it comes down to. The Jaguars next season and for the next couple of seasons, they're going to be really good, in my opinion. But to take that Super Bowl leap, to get to that next level, you have everything you need. You have Calvin Ridley. You have a running back. You have a wide receiver room. You have a tight end room. The offensive line has some shakes to it, all right? I saw an interesting comparison to the Cincinnati Bengals from a couple of years ago. But before we get any further into today's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. It's been way too long since my last Jaguars video. So if we give this video to 100 likes, that would mean the world to me. I still remember hopping back on this mic last season. I think it was after the first Tennessee win. And, Jacksonville last year started 2-6. And it was a disastrous start to the season as far as wins, right? He actually started 2-1, but there was a 5-game losing streak to Philly, Houston, Indy, the Giants, Denver. He got a nice win against Vegas, although Vegas was below expectations last year. After that Tennessee win on the road, you get to 5-8. I remember sitting on this mic and saying the Jaguars are going to win out and they're going to make the playoffs. And they end up winning a playoff game in one of the craziest playoff games I have ever seen in my entire life against the Chargers. And they kept it close against the soon-to-be Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs. I really just think the writing's on the wall here. But there was an interesting article that I was reading on BigCatCountry.com, and basically PFF revealed their positional grades on offense for all 32 teams in the league. And, Trevor Lawrence, to me, is an undisputed top 10 quarterback in the league. And once again, based on my projection for third year Trevor Lawrence and second year under Doug, first year with Calvin Ridley, I think that's going to creep more closer to 5 than it is 10. But basically the point was, we take a look at Jacksonville. They have so many threats, man. Travis Etienne didn't play in his rookie season, but the wait was well worth it. 82.9 rushing grade. He had 45 missed tackles forced, which was 6th in the NFL, and 26 explosive runs, which was top 15 in the league. Keep in mind, we're getting Calvin Ridley back from suspension. Calvin Ridley was with the Atlanta Falcons, with Matt Ryan. It was kind of when, I don't want to say the downfall of the Atlanta Falcons began, but, the Falcons weren't getting that much media coverage in Ridley's last season. And then, the suspension, he missed all of last year when, Jacksonville signed him for a big contract. And, Jacksonville fans didn't forget about it, but I feel like NFL fans kind of forgot just how good Calvin Ridley is. This is one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's a wide receiver 1 for a reason, and he feasted. He's absolutely feasted in his very young NFL career. The Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley duo is going to be one of the best in the National Football League next season. I'd say it's going to be a top 10 receiving duo next year. Christian Kirk, 75% of snaps in the slot. passes thrown his way resulted in a passer rating of 104.7. Now, we don't want to forget about Mr. Zay Jones, who also had a great season last year, very below the radar, 82 catches, 823 yards. That's a phenomenal wide receiver 3 to have. And, honestly, kind of almost a wide receiver 4, because Evan Ingram is a tight end like I've never seen before. Back in 2017, he was drafted in the first round, and he just never broke out. With the Giants, it was just a bad fit, right? The Giants offense has, especially, really since Daniel Jones got there, it has not been good. Brian Dable comes in last year and things start to change, but, Evan Ingram in a Giants uniform just never worked out. This past season, Evan Ingram had some phenomenal football games. He's a phenomenal athlete. 73 catches, 766 yards, along with 4 touchdowns. We saw a big game in the Chargers game, the first game of the playoffs, where he caught 7 passes for 93 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, you pair it all up with a Travis Etienne, who's over 1,000 yards rushing this past season. You bring in Calvin Ridley. Like, the offense and the threats it's top 10. Keep in mind, Jacksonville last season, they finished 9-8 after starting 2-6. They finished with the 10th best offense in the league. I don't see a reason why that isn't going to only improve. Now, I know there's some, not confusion, there's some unknowns, I think is a great word to describe their offensive line. I really like their first-round draft pick in Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. You did lose Jawan Taylor to free agency, went on over to the Kansas City Chiefs. I get it. It's not the best offensive line, but if they're adequate, if they are average, and they can just allow enough time to get that run game going, get that QB, get Trevor Lawrence enough time in the pocket. We saw it last year, man. All right. Defensively, there are a lot of young, just in general, honestly, hungry, not hippos, but talented football players. All right. So I think that defense and that offense, I have no reason to believe why both of them won't be around top 10 next season. They're very well coached. You have an MVP candidate in Trevor Lawrence, new acquisition, just seeing the field now in Calvin Ridley. We pair it all up together. We combine all of it, and I see a 10-win season. All right. And especially considering you're in the AFC South. Now, I really like Anthony Richardson. I really like the vision, the future of the Houston Texans. Not really sold on the Tennessee Titans. I think they're just aging. It never really worked to begin with. We'll see with Will Levis. But there's some young quarterbacks in that division, but it's not even close. Like, Trevor Lawrence beats them all. I mean, obviously, they're all rookies. So long-term, Jacksonville looks great. And my take from the beginning of the video is that they end up making the AFC Championship game. Well, even if that doesn't happen this year, it's going to happen at least once in the next 5 years. All right. So that's it for today. Just a little Jaguar hype for you guys. It's the middle of the offseason. There's really nothing going on. But if you want more Jags videos, we can get a little bit deeper into it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Guys, most importantly, let me know if you want more Jags videos, but let me know your thoughts on this Jaguars offense down below.